Please like this video and subscribe to our channel. You have tuned into and are viewing the District 96 Toastmasters website. Do enjoy and learn and absorb as much as you can from the video.
Our workshop today is going to be presented by Ray Miller. It is Master Your Zoom Experience. The intent of the workshop is to provide the participants with tools and routines to make the Zoom program the least challenging part of participating in or hosting a meeting online. We primarily focused on the computer operation and experience. The workshop will include PowerPoint slides as well as a video. There will be some interactive parts in the workshop to get you to use some of the functions to maintain control and how you view a meeting in Zoom. Can we please welcome Ray Miller, Master Your Zoom Experience, Master Your Zoom Experience, Ray Miller.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome numerous guests. My name is Ray Miller, and I'm looking at my audio screen here, and I can see that I am, my microphone is being picked up. I'm looking at a number of screens in my gallery view here to see that, well, yes, I can see a whole bunch of you here. We've been meeting in Zoom now for several weeks, and we've come up with several challenges throughout this, which we seem to run into new ones every single week. I'm going to be doing this presentation is going to be shared in two parts. I have some slides that are in here, and I also have a video. What you should see right now is what I can see behind me in my video screen is that you are looking at what I've shared, which is a video that I have been building. So this is Mastering Your Zoom Experience. This is a series of sections and checks and things that I want everybody who's using this platform to understand about using the Zoom platform, because one of the things that I've learned through using this is that you have control over what you can experience. You have control over what you can see, and you don't have to feel like you're at the mercy of the platform and who is sharing the equipment. So one of the first things I wanted to talk about is just getting into a meeting. You've all got here, so I don't need to talk about this very much. But going into a meeting, you open up on your first menu, and you can just click Join a Meeting. The first thing I wanted to talk about seriously, though, was verifying your microphone and your audio source. A number of people, when you came into the meeting today, you either couldn't see or you couldn't hear or your microphone wasn't working. So I wanted to show everybody a little bit about where you can go to check your preferences. So if you look up in the top on the Windows menu, there is Preferences. And that will open up a large menu. You can also access this same menu by looking at video settings. So down next to these mute and unmute and start video buttons, there's a little menu that pops up, and that brings up your control menu all the way through and shows you your video settings. So what you look at when you're looking at video settings is you want to verify you have a camera connected, and that camera is feeding. We continue on through, and this is the audio menu. So when you click the video settings menu, it comes up on video settings, which is up here. But this is the entire setting of all settings and controls that you have access to be able to manage your control. Now, on the audio settings screen, you see your speaker. If you're ever not able to hear, you look at your speaker and you see here, what does it say your speaker is? And then your microphone, what your microphone is doing. When you click the test mic button, what that does is it records a section of what your microphone is picking it up, and then it plays it back for you. So it gives you an idea of what it is that you sound like and how you're able to pick up. This is a screenshot of the Apple menu, because another issue that comes up when we're dealing with audio and video in these programs is sometimes Zoom thinks it's talking to a microphone or a video. An issue that you often have when you're coming into video, or when you're sharing, you're setting up your video and setting up your audio, is you don't know what your computer is talking to something else that your Zoom is not talking to. So this is one of the constant issues that comes up. These are the Macintosh menus from the Mac preferences for what you would see for your inputs and outputs. But I'm also going to show you what the Windows version of that looks like. This is the menu for a Windows screen. Same thing. Windows 10, you have sound and what your input devices are. So in this screenshot for this computer, for the computer that I took for my Windows device, if you look behind me right here, that is the Toshiba TV. And if you look right there, that is my Toshiba laptop, which is actually running as a separate computer in this meeting at the moment. But that is the Windows screen with the exact same settings reflected in it. Now let's talk about the video settings menu, because oftentimes this is a challenge as well. We all know how to start and stop our video, but I wanted to show just a little bit of a shoe of what that looks like. Now, you see here where we scroll over, where I have this button scrolled over the video, and we have a pop-up, a hot button, as it were. I have a link that I shared in the Google link. There is a file called keyboard shortcuts. Now, stopping one's video is as simple as using a shortcut. So if you're using a Mac or a Windows computer, there's a different button to do that. So if I wanted to stop my video on a Mac computer, I use Command-Shift-V, and it turns off my video. So you can just see my computer is talking, but you can't see my. Is my audio still working? Good. So you have these key buttons in here. And now there's a resource in the workshop that it's a 4-pager, and it has all of the different keyboard commands that you can have to work through the program. Same thing with audio. There is a hot button for Mac, which is Command-Shift. And what I was just saying while I was gesticulating at the screen was, you can't hear me, you can't hear me, you can't hear me. The Windows version of that hotkey for you is Alt-A. So if you wanted to mute or unmute yourself without reaching for your mouse and scrolling around and trying to find the little button, just click Alt-A. So this is the first test I want everybody to do right now. The first check. I want you to interact with me right now briefly. I want everybody to first identify, confirm if you have a Windows or an Apple computer. And I'm going to open the participants panel so that I can see what everybody looks like in terms of what their current audio status is. So I'm going to count down to 3, and I would like everybody to start talking out loud a little bit, because you're all muted right now. And you're all muted. I would like you to unmute yourself using the hotkey. So if you have a Windows or an Apple computer, please use your hotkey, either Alt-A or Command-Shift-A, and talk. Let's make some noise here. Talking.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Hi, everyone.
Now you're all muted because I have the power, but that's okay. I'm going to allow you all to unmute, and you can mute yourselves again, going through the same process again. So I would like everybody who is able to, please mute yourself. Same thing, Command-Shift-A or Alt-A, Alt-A. And I'm watching the participant screen. I want to see everybody's microphones lighting up to say you're muted. Muted, 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 muted. Looks like everybody's catching up. Great. All right, that's item 1, complete. I would like to move on to our next thing that comes up quite frequently. I would like to show everybody now how to rename yourself. So the way that you do that is scroll over top of your video and look for and make the little button that comes up that says mute and 3 little dots. So if I'm looking at my video, right there on your own video, click on it and a menu will open that says rename. Can everybody do that? And I'd like you to change your name to something that isn't your name. Doesn't matter. And again, I'm going to be watching the participants panel. I would like to see everybody's name show up, because when you change the name, you name yourself.
Ray, I see the 3 dots, but I only see participants chat and record.
You're on your name, not mine. Okay. So I'm looking at everybody's screen here. Something that isn't, oh, wow, look at this. That's a long name, and I can't read it all, but it's long name, Jod, Margot. Now I would like everybody to go back and rename yourselves to your name. So we've got everybody's names renamed with the exception of a few. So that is workshop element number 2, renaming yourself. So this is the audio input settings and video settings. So again, as I mentioned before, in your video settings, we have a few menu items that we can play with here. If you have multiple cameras, this is where you would be able to set a different camera. If you wanted to talk to just this camera, but if you had another one, say one behind you that had a different angle, you can have multiple angles shot up. And this is an advanced feature that you can use. Because the next item that I wanted to come to is viewing a shared screen. This is an important thing, a really important thing. So everybody, I would like everybody to look up to the top of your screen, and you should see a little green bar that says you are viewing Ray Miller's or Ray SAA's screen, and then you should see immediately next to it a thing that says view options. Open that menu and it should drop down, and there should be an option for you to see side-by-side mode. This is an option that you should have set up always when you are in a Zoom meeting that has presentations being shared, when you want to be able to see the screen that's being shared as a complete video. So everybody, please select side-by-side mode, because this next demonstration is really important to demonstrate this feature. So if you've selected side-by-side mode and you're looking at our shared screen, this is what you should see approximately. On your entire screen, you should be seeing a panel of speakers on your right-hand side of your screen, and you should be seeing a big window here that has basically just the video that I'm showing. So you should see a little speaker and big video. Now look really carefully here on the screen. If you're looking right there, you should see 2 little lines. This is how you resize this screen. You grab the 2 little lines with your cursor, and then you can resize it. You can make it as big or as small as you want. Now for a closer look. I anticipated that this would need to be seen again. So again, we have 2 little lines here on my screenshot. Grab them. Exactly as if you were resizing a table in an Excel document or in a Word document. You want to make this cell smaller and make these cells containing all of the videos bigger. And this is going to give you a gallery view or a speaker view that'll show everybody going. And then you can make my screen a little bit smaller. Make the screen that I'm sharing a little bit smaller. So my little video window should now be this size over here, and you should probably see a gallery view of 8 or 9 or 10 or 20 videos of different people looking at your screen. Now, has anybody had any challenge with that, or does anybody need to see that again? I'm seeing a lot of heads shaking.
I only see 4 in the gallery, and then I see you in the middle with a gray screen ahead with Kevin's name on it, and then a little one with the green screen.
So if you gallery, that's perfect. So that's exactly what you're seeing. Now, have you been able to make the screen with the little videos, and the green screen smaller. My video, the shared window video, smaller.
I enjoy that, making it smaller, but you get bigger and I don't enjoy that.
Well, Gordon, that's just because you're disagreeable sometimes. Okay. Okay, so this is a thing that you need to know and understand to control your viewing experience. Because oftentimes when somebody's sharing a screen and you see a whole bunch of people paying attention to something, maybe you don't want to pay attention to the slide that's being shown. Maybe you want to pay attention to the person who's speaking and then go back to the slide. So this is something that you can do, and you can make what they're sharing really small, and then you can make what they're sharing really big. So, say with Gordon's presentation, if he had his video on, you could have had his slide up on this side and his video up on this side. And while he was talking about what was on the slide, you could be looking at his video. And while he was discussing specifically what was on the slide and you needed to read that, you could make it bigger. So it's like looking at a slideshow presentation and detail what you're able to see. And this is a control feature. Next item, next test. Test number 3, reactions. So nonverbal reactions are a way that we can show that you're paying attention. We who are watching even if you're muted and even if your screen is muted, nonverbal reactions. So if you look down here, we have a button on your screen that you should see available to you that says reactions with a little plus sign next to it. Can everybody see that? If you can, please put a thumbs up in your screen. Okay, we got 2, 3, we got some applause, we got some applause, we got some thumbs up. Oh, look at this, I'm gonna take a screenshot of that, that's awesome. So everybody is quite familiar with reactions. If you can have your reactions sitting basically easy. So if you're watching a presentation, you're watching somebody do their speech and do their thing, and they wanna know that you're paying attention. In Zoom, that's the thing that we miss in live meetings, is looking around the room and saying, I see Cheyenne is really paying attention to what it is that I'm saying, and I see Ron is watching the screen and really focusing on what I'm saying, or I'm not really sure if he is or not. So every once in a while, if you get something that is like, that's good. Rather than hitting chat, which will give a notification to everybody to say, I'm talking. Use the reactions button and be like, that was awesome. I'm okay with that. Let's keep doing that. So that's item number 3 complete. Pinning a video. Now, everybody knows that you want to pin a video every once in a while. Sometimes, and this is an important thing to remember, sometimes you might have an audio feed and a video feed which are connected, but if you're watching the person who's using their phone as an audio feed and their video as their video feed, if you're watching speaker view, you're only going to see something come up that's going to say phone number and talking and talking and talking. So pinning a video is how you get around that. If you connect somebody who's dialed in to somebody who is on video feed, you pin their video. And this is how you pin a video. Same thing as we did with the renaming exercise. You have a triple ellipses over top of here. Now this is a video that I actually recorded last night because it was an interesting way I thought I could show it. What you're seeing here is me in this position right here. There's my video screen right here. And what you're seeing is that laptop, which is that laptop. It doesn't have a microphone enabled and it's not making any noise. So the only microphone in this room that is picking up any noise is this laptop right here. So by going through this process and pinning a video, I'm going to ask everybody to now do this same thing. I would like you to go to the participants list. If you could open it up as a little test here. I would like everybody to open the participants list. I would like you to find a video screen called ray-m-rec/demo. If you can find that in the video screen, you can do it by the triple ellipses, but you can also do it by the participants list. So I would like everybody to pin my video, and I am also going to pin that video.
Ray, I found it, but sorry, I missed that. How do I pin it? I'm at what do I hit?
Okay, so scroll over top of the video window that says the triple ellipses here and drop down to say pin video. This is the demonstration I wanted to show you in this video is in the description of what it is. So what I've done in this video is I have pinned a video that does not have an audio feed. So the video that is the computer behind me in this feed is not. You can see right here, this one doesn't have an audio feed coming into it. So there's no reason this should show up in a speaker view. When you're pinning a video, if you are connecting a speaker and a phone, this is something that you want to be able to do. To be able to pin a video that doesn't have an audio feed coming through, because sometimes they are disconnected. Next item, and this is an interactive portion. Could everybody please go to the chat and scroll up a little bit to where I've shared a file called timer background green, to download that file and save it on your desktop. This is how you do virtual backgrounds. Some computers are not able to do virtual backgrounds, as in if you look at Vladimira's video right now, she's got a field full of flowers behind her. That is called a virtual background. Now, we use virtual backgrounds in Toastmasters as timing lights. We are coming up on through here, but in order to add a virtual background, maybe I'll change my video to do the same thing as I'm doing this. You can update your virtual background to have any kind of set of images that you want. What I would like everybody in the room to do is look for the video. I would like you to go to virtual background settings. And the way you do that is go to your video settings, and when your menu opens up under video settings, there is a menu item called choose a virtual background. I would like you to select a virtual background, any virtual background. So in the Google link that I sent out to everybody that has been challenging for, these are the files that are actually in there. We actually have timing light backgrounds that are available for people to play with.
My computer doesn't have the capability, unfortunately.
It actually does, and you know how?
Oh, it said it didn't.
I know. The way you get around that is you tell it you have a green screen. So even though you don't have a green screen, if your computer is not capable of doing virtual backgrounds, if you tell it you have a green screen, then it will have enough information to think, oh, well, I'll just apply a green screen to it. And what it does, because my computer doesn't have this capability either, I don't have a green screen, but when I do a virtual background, it changes my entire screen. It assumes I am all green screen because it can't identify it. So in our Toastmasters world, if you want to be a ghostly Toastmaster with green and yellow and red lights, you can do that without having a green screen. You just won't be able to see what your video looks like. You'll just look like somebody evil from a horror movie somewhere. So that's virtual backgrounds. This is how you change and update. As you say, my computer doesn't meet the requirements for green screen either. It'd be like. So sharing your screen is actually quite a simple process. None of you right now can actually do it, with the exception of April and Yuria. Everybody else has no permissions to do it because I've locked it down right now. And I've done that for safety reasons that, I can talk about it another time or somewhat later. But advanced sharing options. So when you share a screen, you have an option that looks like desktop. You can input from an iPhone or an iPad in a Mac world, or you can plug in a phone or a mobile device, and you can select from any of these screens that you have open. So any window that you have open, whether it be a PowerPoint, whether it be a video, which is what I'm sharing to right now. And I should be able to, you should be able to see this right now. Did my share screen window just pop up in the view of
Yes.
Yeah? So if you can see this right now, what you're looking at is, this is what pops up in my share screen when this opens up. Right now, currently, I am sharing my desktop too. So I have a second monitor up here. And that's where my share screen content is. Some of you have actually asked about that, including Ellie, how you want to set up for dual desktops or dual monitors. I'm not going to get into that today, but we can talk about that offline. But I can share desktop 1. I can share desktop 2, which is where I'm sharing right now. You can share mobile devices via cable or Bluetooth. If you're on a Windows machine, or if you're on a Mac machine, it'll look a little bit differently. And then you can share other windows that are open anywhere on your computer. So I still have my PowerPoint open up here too, which is the guide that I've worked out for everything through here. In the next, you have the ability to share just a portion of a screen. So if I only wanted to show this section of this video, you can share just that section, or the music with computer sound. Say I wanted to play music in the background, you can share that, or content from a second camera. And then this is how you can also share files. Under the basic though, there's also share computer sound. So if you were sharing a video that had sound in it, you want to make sure that you checkbox that so that the sound that you're sharing from there is sharing from your video will actually come through your feed. And also optimizing share for screen setup. I'm not going to change the share on here because I'm going to continue using my video as a guide. One of the interesting tricks I found out is sharing my dual desktop screen. Anything that I put in this monitor up above me here is going to show up in what it is that you can see. Settings under the share participant screen. I have it in host settings. Only one participant can share at a time. If this mark as the host is unchecked, then that means any of you can override my screen share, or multiple people can share simultaneously. And then advanced sharing options. From that menu, again, this is where I say one participant can share at a time, or who can share. Right now for this session, I have it set so only hosts can share, so only me. If I wanted to change that to be anybody, then anybody could at any time bump in and just do a share. And then this is the settings for screen sharing. So this is something that you can do. When you're going into a screen share, or when somebody's sharing a screen, you can set it to have it default to have side-by-side mode to make sure that it always comes up as that side-by-side mode, and you don't have to go in and change that. Show your Zoom windows during a screen share. So in full motion, it'll actually make a couple of floating windows just that you can move around. Any questions about screen sharing on this? Was that helpful?
Yes, I want to know, where do you, and you're on yellow, where do you go for that initially? I missed that. Under participants? Oh, share screen, it's right there. Okay, I see it.
So that's the menu right here. When you're looking at,
sorry, it's right there, yeah.
Screen is that little green button, and then the little arrow next to it is where you get the additional menu options.
Right, sorry, okay.
Ray Moreno has a question.
Yes, sir.
Share screens, is side-by-side on by default?
No, it is not. Not unless you have told it to do that. Now, this is another question that I'd like to ask everybody to know. How many of you actually have a free Zoom account? Give me a thumbs up. If you have a free Zoom account and you're signed into your free Zoom account right now, give me a thumbs up. Huh? Yeah? Okay. This is an important thing. If you do not have your own free Zoom account, for everybody who doesn't have their own free Zoom account, you will not, your Zoom program will not remember your settings if you change them later. Now, I'm going to do a quick fly through of the actual Zoom account settings because there's some security things that I want to show through as well. But very quickly, I'm going to show you participant panel and things like that. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to talk about a couple of things quickly through here on the participants panel because I want to identify some stuff for you. So this is the participants panel, and this is what the participants panel looks like when you are a meeting host. Can everybody see that window open up on your screen right now? Okay, so as you can see here, we've got 39 participants. Now look next to me, you can see that I have options. I can mute, rename myself, but you can also see this little red dot here. That indicates that I am recording this workshop, this screen. You can also see that Uria is also recording. that screen. And going down, where is my, oh, my other computer stopped recording. That's no good. No, you're not even in the meeting anymore, are you? Yes, you are. Ah, there we are. Yes, so you have actually stopped. So no, forbid record. This one was originally set up to start recording, but it got moved out elsewhere and I lost track of it. But you can actually review and see what everybody's video status is, what everybody's audio status is, and you can move them around. So I can put people in the waiting room, I can make people co-hosts. Now, as a participant's view, you can't. You have fewer options, but you still have some specific options. You can reach out to one person and say, I want you to, you can chat with somebody directly, for instance. So I'm gonna chat with Helena, which now comes to the Zoom, the chat features. So I'm gonna chat with, hi, I'm gonna chat with Helena. And you can chat individually to anybody within there. You can also share files through the chat box from your computer, anywhere on your computer, in the Google Drive, Google Box, and you can chat directly to people. I'm going to close the chat box here because there's one final thing I wanted to make sure that I got through in our video. Now, these are the Zoom website settings, and these are important for you as your club, or as your Zoom settings will change. So accessing your Zoom settings, you can get to them by going to your profile and going to advanced settings and going to Zoom. So signing up, it's free, but you go through your profile, you click view advanced features, it'll take you directly out to your advanced features page. So you log in and it comes through and you have your profile details, and that's, you know, everybody's specific stuff. Now, there's next thing here is going to fly over very quickly. So I want to preamble this. This is not intended to show you every single setting or give you a review of every single setting. This is a view of all of the settings that are available in your meeting settings for Zoom. This is going over quickly, so don't worry about tracking it. Just in your meeting settings, this is all of the things that you have control over as a free person. This is a list of all of the recommended settings that we have to be able to control who's able to share things, control who's able to record things, record who's able to screen share, control who's able to enter and exit the meeting. In the District 21 contest a couple of weeks ago, as Rick was mentioning to me yet last week, you mentioned that there were Zoom bombers who came into the publicly related meeting link, and they caused havoc because they started sharing things that people didn't want to see, and they started shelling things. I was in one meeting where a member came in, or a person came in and joined the meeting, and all they did was basically they screamed into their microphone as loud as they could, and they were just angry and angry and angry and angry and angry. And all that did was take over everybody's video feed. These settings in our share screen here are ways that you can have to be able to manage their access into the room and access into how you control how people take over your screen. Zoom is very easy to get into and very easy to use. Unfortunately, that easy is also leading people to not take advantage of all the security settings that they have available to it. It's not a weakness in the program, it's just a weakness in the training. As easy as it is to use without any training, these are the ways that, some of the ways that you can control. And this is how you control your experience in Zoom, and this is how you control how others experience what you prepare and share in Zoom. Webinars, more advanced stuff. This is more for hosting. So meeting room setups. If you are a meeting host, and now the only people who can see these features right now are April and Yuria, but There is breakout rooms, Zoom meeting setups. If you've been in one of our division contests or one of our area contests, you'll know that for the evaluation contestants, we move those people to a separate breakout room where they can't hear anything. So all I'm doing is showing how that works. So you set up a meeting room, and I assign a person to the room who is the other computer behind me, Sandbox Bob, and I send them to the room. And they leave the room. As a host, you can always join any of the meeting rooms, and you go to the meeting room and you find, Sandbox Bob behind you is in a room all by themselves. Now, this is a thing that runs into a challenge as well, because if you are the host and you leave a breakout room, you can leave Sandbox Bob behind you in the meeting room all by themselves and be like, I don't know where I'm supposed to be. So sometimes you might have to go back and remind them they can leave. They can always leave the meeting room. This is changing hosts. So I can assign anybody in the room as a host. So, and you notice that with the little notification up on top of the screen that says somebody becomes the host. And when you relinquish your hosting control, you lose your ability to do all the hosting things, and you have to rely on whoever it is that you gave the hosting control to give it back to you. Leaving breakout rooms, this is one thing to remember. You always want to make sure that you leave the breakout room when you're supposed to. If you're on a timer, somebody might come in and tell you it's time to leave, but it's up to you to always leave the room when you're in it. And that's actually the end of my video for right now. There is a whole lot more you can go into, and I can go into. These are ways that you can master your experience and use in Zoom. And I hope if you all came out of this with one thing or three things or maybe 5 things that you didn't know about before, I hope this workshop was helpful.
Please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for listening and viewing to the District 96 website. I am Earl Thomas the Voice, Area Director for Division J, Area 84, District 96. Have yourself an awesome day.